Run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. Run the mountain, run the road. Run past the 8 stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. One stream, 2 guys. Mountain Outpost. Now here's your host.
Woo! Welcome back to the Mountain Outpost podcast, episode 19. Hopefully you can hear us all tonight. A couple audio issues, but we're back. I'm your co-host, Jamil Curry.
Oh, your boy, Skizzle Fresh, Skylar Hall. Holding it down, tearing it up. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Great to be here. I think finally we're like getting closer to that earlier time slot, so it's good.
In fairness, there were some pretty wild, plug in, plug out motherboard situations on this one. So I think that, we're hitting our stride. Let's put it that way.
That's right. We got some computer upgrade snafu issues going on, untested until right before the show. So that's how it goes.
It's all fun and games until something almost catches on fire.
You got a nice glow today.
It's the nature of the beast. Yeah, thanks. Been doing a lot of standing outside coaching. This is my post-workout effervescence, mostly so I can hide the tan lines and crazy hair that I'm currently rocking. Let me live, okay?
I like it. We are coming at you today, episode 19. We are going to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on in the running world right now and what's coming up in our running world this month too. So I think I got hit harder than I thought from that second dose of the vaccine because, I did another training run out of the Cocodona course from outside of Prescott, and it was the opposite of the run I did a couple weeks ago. It was nice and easy downhill, and I still felt wrecked. So hopefully that's all that was, and I feel a little bit more normal this week. So I'm hoping for.
Good. Yeah, no, I think people started tagging me in your Strava post for that run based on our bet from last week that between podcasts, whoever has less mileage, 2 of the 3 podcasts, they owe the other one. So
I already forgot
you throw down a
about
19-mile day.
Damn. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, you goofed it. I did not have a great weekend, but I had a great Monday, Tuesday. So there it is, sir. That is correct. Yes, I had to do a little bit of research, make sure that I tried to clear. Today's schedule got a little bit messed up, so I didn't get to run as much as I wanted to. But coming into today, you were sitting at like 29.1 miles since we recorded Thursday night.
I think
I was at 21.
Okay.
And then I had a workout today where I put down 9.5 miles. So I'm sitting at 30.1.
I just published a run that I had.
Oh, really? You're going to pull that move?
I forgot. Totally forgot about it. It wasn't very much, though.
That's a
It was 2.81. I don't know if that's enough. It's probably not enough. It might be close, though.
Yeah, no, that puts you ahead of me.
All right.
By literally like 0.8 miles or something like that. I hate you so much.
Oh, man. All right. So I got to public my Strava again. Okay. I had, anyways.
Or at least tell me. You're like that person in a Strava group that doesn't push any of their runs from their watch until Sunday just before the deadline, so they can be the top of the leaderboard. That's you. That's you right now. And I hate you, and I hate everything you stand
I could
for.
just re-private it. It was basically a hike, so it probably doesn't count. I don't know. I could give it to you.
No, I don't need your charity, man. Damn.
I mean, I did do.
But I got my morning run in this morning like I wanted to. Then it'd have been fine if I was able to get a proper cool down in instead of having conference calls in the middle of practice. I'd have been fine. But Whatever, man. I'll let you have this one. It's cool.
All right.
Just what a bastard. Okay. So if you're unfamiliar with this show, for whatever reason, or you think this is Outhouse News and it's gonna be just like that, clearly it is not, because it could be me now just hate talking to Jamil for the next hour and change. Two guys catching up, talking running, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and whatever the hell else you guys put in the chat tonight. If you are watching live on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and engage in the chat box on whatever side of me it is. And if you're listening to this on your podcatcher of choice later on, you can join us on Tuesday nights on YouTube, or just shoot us on IG when I put up the post for questions and novel topics. Let us know what you want to hear, and we'll potentially tackle it on next week's show. But let's talk training, since we're already on the topic, because of your, let's just say, fuckery on Strava. So first and foremost, you got to train your liver, because we're going to be crossing paths together, and we're going to have some drinks. So what are you drinking?
Back on the Church Music IPA from the Shop Beer Co., local to the scene here. Yep.
Respect it. I am on, I got this Laughing Monk Book of Tropics Kettle Sour, which has actually been in my fridge for like over a year. So I figured I had a nice weekend of wine tasting, so I was just going to stay in the things that kind of taste like grapes variety. So
probably extra
cheers,
sour
sir.
now. Cheers.
Oh yeah, I was super tart, but delicious. All right, running wise, we talked about it last week. You're a little beaten up and broken still, but you did get the 19 miler on the Cocodona course. What else is going on? Like, are you rebounding? Are you taking care of this Achilles? You know, how this newly public run, what does that entail? Where are you at with your training with, a few short weeks until we toe the line at Cocodona?
Yeah, the Achilles, it's like just depends on the day if it feels good or bad. So I don't know. Felt bad the rest of that day of that 20 miler, but then felt good the next day. So I don't know what to think sometimes, man. Just don't know.
I'm gonna have to send you like a lacrosse ball and be like, just while you're doing the pod,
I did take one of those Roll 8 devices. It has like the 8 rollerblade wheels, and it's like jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Just like put it around my leg.
Yep.
Just started rubbing up and down, rolling up and down. I don't know, whatever. So I did that because I thought of you, and I was like, what would Skizzlefresh tell me to do here? And that's one thing that he might tell me to do. So I can't tell if it's like a calf thing that's causing it down lower, maybe. I do think it's, clearly residual Barkley-ish type of thing. I think it originated right after my peak week of training. So, and then I think my legs, it's tough to say if it was that second shot or if it's just more residual from the 27 hours doing the Barkley, just my legs in general feeling not all the way back to 100%. I'm still only a few weeks post Barkley, so I figured there could be some residual on that. I don't know.
Yeah. So with respect to the Achilles component and whatnot, always got to look upstream and downstream. So I would actually take a lacrosse ball, see if you got some nasty sections of your arch, see if there's something happening just like in the foot itself. But a lot of lower leg issues also originate from the glutes. And because Barkley inherently is a ton of climbing, and with the footing that you guys had, you might have been doing a little bit more slipping and sliding than usual. I would just, try to stretch the glutes like old school PE stretches, see if there's some weirdness happening upstream. It's a huge muscle, so you might not have noticed it, but yeah, check on that.
I know my quads were trashed. That's for sure.
Yeah,
so,
of course, but
I don't know.
Glutes are, a primary mover on the backside, whereas your quads would be on the front side, getting those knees up. So,
all right,
look into it. Let me know. There might be some. We might have to phone a friend and get you into a PT. Go to the Phoenician, get you a nice massage. We'll figure something out for you. We got to get you to Cocodona in one piece. I'm not trying to have you break down somewhere and just like chill in the Crown King Saloon until the cutoffs come. At least
definitely not. We gotta get to
not
the
my
finish.
choice.
We gotta get to that finish line for sure.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. All right.
And we're starting to plan out the logistics of that though, in terms of pacers and crew and all that kind of stuff. So I have kind of begun down that path, which is exciting. We were texting about it just last night, I think.
We were. Well, in fairness, you texted me like 2 days ago, and I finally got back to you. Yes.
That's fine.
And then that reminded me this morning that I needed to actually book a rental car. So yes, things are coming together. Yes, I will see you somewhere either at mile 145 or 156, whatever the aid station is after that. Just a function of when my flight lands, how long it'll take me to drive up there / navigate the Phoenix Sky Harbor rental car terminal and where you're at on course.
Yeah, I was going to say where I am on course.
that part's pretty important. Yeah, I actually like read the runner guide at some point yesterday or today and was just trying to benchmark. Like, okay, first runner expected. Is Jamil going to be the first runner? If I hop in here, is it going to be nighttime? Like things like that. So I'm starting to mentally prepare where I'm going to be for the whole process. But I'm excited. Man. I have not run at elevation in quite some time. So even that 4,000 feet might be a little touch and go there for a little bit. And if I hop in that second time,
I haven't either. I was that run in Prescott. It's like we got up there. We're at 7,000 feet. I was like, I can't breathe. Yeah,
man. You have no excuse. That's a 45-minute drive for you to get on some stuff. It's like a 3.5-hour drive for me. So it's cool. I'll suck it up.
That's fair.
No,
that's fair.
Yeah, you will lock it down. All right. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a good time. Are we unveiling some of the folks behind the scenes yet? Or are we gonna hold that close to the vest?
What scenes are we talking?
Behind
what scenes? Oh, my race?
Yeah, your race.
Oh, like my race plan. I don't know. Should we talk about it now? Should we live in suspense for at least another week? Say we got some really all-star pacers coming in. I mean, we have Skylar, of course, but we've got some others involved. It's not totally, everything's not finalized yet, so maybe we give it another week and then we can reveal.
Okay.
That'd be kind of fun. I have a crew the whole way as well, which is exciting.
Very helpful.
That will be clutch. And then other than
and
that,
we have some folks live streaming. So in terms of the business side, it sounds like that's coming together.
The live stream is starting to come together. We are looking for volunteers here. Actually, right now, we're gonna go. Well, let me get it pulled up first, and then I'm going to put it on the iPad.
Yeah, cool. So if you are a fan of if you're a fan of our Black Canyon coverage, you can be the people making that happen because Jamil and I will both be on course. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check out the post or to sign up, definitely a good opportunity to contribute back to the sport in a way that you might not have considered possible even just 4 or 5 short months ago. Ton of fun to commentate and support the live stream of Cocodona 250. Obviously, we got the commentating roles. Also have folks on course that are going to be helping either tracking down runners and rolling along with them. I assume we're still looking for some drone folks based on the fact that we can never have enough drones apparently. and there's some static stuff near some of the aid stations, which are most all of them, either off of major thoroughfares or a very drivable forest road. So yeah, Jamil, you got the screen up there. Anything you want to highlight on how folks can get involved on that Cocodona live stream?
Yeah, for sure. If you guys want to check this out, airviperrunning.ivolunteer.com, and then click the Cocodona live stream like you just saw me do. And you can see it's broken up by day here at the top, so I can kind of click through and show you guys. We've got definitely some options. So there's a few that are starting to fill in. It looks like on day 1, 3, and 4, we still have a lot of openings right now, but we're starting to really push it here. So a lot of these there's a combination. Some are follow cams, and that basically means we want you to be with your running kit and kind of ready to be on foot for the time that the shift is. And you'll be basically maybe following a runner into an aid station, and then once they get there, there'll probably be someone else static that just stays in the aid station. So once you get there, you would head back out on course, follow the next runner in, and just kind of keep doing that, and then maybe also switch to after an aid station, follow a runner out of an aid station, or you might be somewhere on course where there's not an aid station. It's just kind of back and forth in that good cell phone range to give us that perspective. So you can kind of see what miles some of these are at. We're looking for kind of someone to be at most aid stations when the lead runners are coming through, and it'll give our commentators in the studio an idea of what's going on out there. So yeah, we're at least gonna have coverage for the start, it looks like, and for Cottonwood Creek. So yeah, if you see some of these that are open and you're interested, we got looks like one person at Crown King so far. We've also got openings at Camp Wamatochik, Whiskey Row, Downtown Prescott, Iron King. And if you're a crew member and you are out supporting a runner, or maybe you're a pacer and you want to help out, we welcome it. If you want to do either a shift before or after, and even if you can't work maybe 100% of these hours, reach out to us, see if we can use you for part of it. Day 2 is pretty much wide open. We've got some help at day 3. It looks like Buck is at Mount Eldon. We got Ben at Flagstaff Finish, so we'll have some help there. And then we've got some more at Flagstaff Finish. So we'll definitely be getting the finish line covered. We've got some commentators in the studio, and yeah, the drone pilots are not on here. We really need those people to have their Section 107 license and to really be experienced. So we're not looking for come learn how to fly a drone, but if you are able to, you could just reach out to us, contact me directly. So yeah, a little plug for the Cocodona live stream. Check it out. Should be a good time.
Yeah, we're gonna get weird. I'm also kind of banking on you finishing on Cinco de Mayo, so if you could make that happen, that would be great.
It's been a big topic of conversation over the weekend, and even since then, what am I going to be drinking and where? So we can talk through this. This might be a good exercise. We were thinking Crown King Saloon would be a beer.
Mm-hmm.
Beer in one of those mason jars from the bar. I think that'd be pretty appropriate.
Yep, absolutely appropriate.
Then the next goal is to get to Whiskey Row before the bars close. So 2 a.m. So you got basically 20, I'm going to have 21 hours to go 80 miles to get a shot at one of the bars on Whiskey Row. And I don't know if you have a recommended saloon.
Ooh, I mean, got a couple options. I don't know what's open anymore. Obviously, pandemic, and also it's been a couple years since I've been up that way. What was that bar that had the way too brightly lit dance floor on the second floor? That bar actually had good drinks. But you had to go down this weird hall. I forget what it's called. I got to Google Maps.
Oh, it was second story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I saw a saloon that's on the second story. I don't think I've been to that one.
Look into that.
There's Matt's Saloon. That's the one with the that's where we stopped this weekend during our training run. So that's kind of a classic one. It's got this cow skull and the glowing red eyes. The bird cage is right before the aid station.
Always a good time. Always a good time with the bird cage.
I will say a lot of these are cash only bars, so you might want to pack some cash or have your debit card. Just be aware. Be aware.
I'm going to just throw this out there. One of the hidden gems of Prescott, if you are a crew pacer or just visiting, I'm just doing the Tourism Bureau's job for them. That meadery that's like in the basement underneath that weird antique shop. I actually don't know what they sell. But it's like a top 5 in the world meadery, and you would never guess it based on the fact that you're running down a place called Whiskey Row. So look into that. If you're in Prescott, look for the meadery. It's damn good.
One for crews just off Whiskey Row. There's like Prescott Brewing Company. There's Granite Mountain Brewing. There's the Raven Cafe. There's tons of great places to eat and drink. So, yeah, it's going to be a treat for the crew, I think. They're going to be having lots of options. So, okay, so we got whiskey shot on Whiskey Row. I mean, that's got to happen.
Appropriate.
Moving up the course, Jerome. We're trying to figure out the vibe for Jerome. I mean, you're kind of on the edge of wine country there, like the whole Verde Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do they do like they don't do like traditional wines. Don't they do like the weird green wine, or there's something odd about that area that I forget off the top of my
Juniper
head.
wine? No, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, I guess. I think they have a mix of stuff.
Because you can go, yeah, obviously you can go the wine route, being the edge of wine country. You could also go, Jerome kind of has that just like gritty feel that like you can just go straight beer mile, like watery, fun beer shot and keep it moving. That's like the Jerome
beer
vibe.
And a shot?
Yeah, Boilermaker.
A Boilermaker, okay. I'm so out of it.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
That's what
I
the kids call it. I don't know.
I don't know if like running 250 miles in wine mix, you know? Seems like a weird combo.
It's highly acidic compared to everything else that you would probably consume. Wine is that could backfire quickly.
That's
the
kind of what
requisite, or as the resident drinking and running specialist, I would not recommend wine and running under normal circumstances.
I did a Tour de Franzia once, and that was a really poor choice. It was a cycling event, but not good.
Have you ever played Slap the Bag? Like, are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, cool. We'll keep that as a challenge in our back pocket. Okay. All right. So Jerome, yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Also, if you're gonna have to do wine, just to like spread things out, Sedona feels more like the uppity, like tourism trap wine spot. I don't think you want to burn that earlier. So yeah, if we're going to have to cross the wine bridge, I would do so at Sedona.
I'm also struggling to see. I don't know how many options there are on course in Sedona. I think we do go right by Tlaquepaque, which might have something there. And then I can't remember when we go up if there is something. There is slightly off course, I think, is a Mexican restaurant, which I wish, like the Cinco de Mayo thing would be perfect, but I think I'm hoping I'm nearing Flagstaff by Cinco de Mayo and not still in Sedona by Cinco de Mayo. So for those of you that have that time option, that might be perfect for you.
Yeah, I won't allow you to be still in Sedona on Cinco de Mayo.
Great.
Just as the person who has to pace you, because that means I have to sleep in a car somewhere.
Margaritas might have to be a crew. Well, it could be a downtown Flagstaff thing when we finish, right?
If it's on the 5th, that would make sense. Only if it's on the 5th, though, because otherwise there's way too many good beer options in Flagstaff to do a disservice and have a margarita for no reason.
So might have to do a crew vehicle margarita on the way or something. Crew assist, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Sounds like a good plan. I think we got it mostly figured out. Yeah, a beer in the finish and flag. There's plenty of places right in the square, basically. I mean, I'm getting some Pizzicoletta pizza, let's be honest, when I finish, so that's happening.
There is one brewery every time I've ever been to Flagstaff that I've gone to time and time again, and they have board games like in the back, and that's my jam. So I cannot remember the name of it because I haven't been there in like 3 years, but yeah, It was a cool spot. I'll have to look it up on Swarm or something.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah. Let me know.
Oh, trust me. There's one hotel room booked, and it's in Flagstaff for Wednesday night. So this is solely focused on you finishing on Wednesday on Cinco de Mayo, and then I can actually sleep in a bed and not in the back of an SUV.
So before 2 a.m. Thursday.
Correct.
That's the target.
Yes.
So that would be 69 hours. Is that right?
Sure. I'll take your top of the
2 a.m., 5 a.m. start. That'd be 3 days minus 3, 69.
No.
Am I doing the math wrong?
Really? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that sounds right.
3 days, 72 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
3 before. So
It's been a long day. Yeah,
sub 69.
Don't trust me.
We'll get you to the Flagstaff bar scene before they shut down early Thursday morning.
Okay, cool.
All right.
That's reasonable. Besides, it's all flat in the middle. You're fine.
Yeah, like the first 50K is going to be really hard. And then, I mean, from then on, it's fine.
That's fair. I mean, otherwise, what's going to happen is I'm going to sleep in a bed, and then I'm going to roll out Thursday morning and play the cha-cha slide for you to finish because you're going to lose this damn bet, and it's going to be great. So.
Wait, which bet?
Dude, that's the bet.
The bet. Oh, the cha-cha. Dude, we're good. We got it. We're back on track.
I worry about you. Yeah, no more Strava debauchery.
All right, I'll turn my stuff public. You'll see what I do when I do it, and we'll be good.
That's fine. Or just screenshot the private thing to me. So it's not that I'm just trying to snipe you. Like I have a very specific training plan that I'm kind of trying to work through right now. But also, if I need to go double, like responsibly, I would like to know that.
Makes sense.
Let's not break me before this because if I run 40 miles, that could be the end of me. So
yeah, because you're talking about doing a couple big sections, right?
Yeah. So what I floated was hell, I gotta like pull up the photo at this point, but it was a Deer Park.
Deer Pass to Black Tank.
Deer Pass. Okay, which
that's what you said, right?
Which is what I said. And again, that's kind of based on where you're at on course because I land at like I want to say I land at like 10 a.m. and then have to drive up. So it's completely based on.
I won't be close to Deer Pass. I'm gonna be up on Mingus or something. So. You might be able to come find me before you start pacing. Like I bet you'll be able to meet us either top of Mingus or Jerome if you want, or you could just wait at Deer Pass, But I think you'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, I got to scope out. Also, I still have to probably work that morning on the plane and whatnot. But
fair, yeah, that's fair.
Public health never stops. But yeah, no, I figured if I can't hop in at Deer Pass, the worst case scenario, I hop in. I think downtown Sedona is like literally the next one. And then just based on, also there was like a parking situation at Deer Pass. This is like really in the weeds. People probably don't care about this, but yeah, I'm basically going to try to go up to 40 miles on that first stretch with you. And then based on how you're doing, who else is available, how I bounce back, potentially hop back in at Fort Tuttle and take you to whatever the last crewable aid station is before you climb Eldon, which I've never been over Eldon. So there's a world where I could actually flip that and start there and go over Eldon with you. But again, that's kind of based on where I'm at. And that's also 9,000 feet. And I don't need another hard rock situation where you drop me on top of a high mountain and I got to run down by myself. So
that's fair.
So we'll see where it's at. But yeah, no, I am basically ready to go mentally, or I should say, I'm mentally preparing myself to go somewhere between 60 and 75 miles over that stretch.
In like 2 different runs. Yeah.
In 2 different runs. And then hopefully I can find some pro runner in Flagstaff who has some Normatec boots they'll let me borrow for a little bit before I have to fly back Friday morning to California and do some other dumb stuff.
All right. Legit. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, did I tell you I'm going to Vegas the weekend before, too? So I'm just going to ruin my body before I ever even get on course. It's going to be great.
Oh, like 2 days before or whatever? All right.
Yeah, I do love me some Vegas. This still might work out better than that time that we did Big Pine. We did the challenge at Big Pine at Fort Tuttle, and then I DJ'd that night for the night race, slept in the car, and then drove to Vegas the next morning to end up at a pool party. I think I'm still going to walk out this year cleaner than I did that time. That was just brushing my teeth in like the Encore parking garage. It was absurd. We lived a good time when I lived in Arizona.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just a reminder, we will be monitoring the YouTube chats. So, and at some point we might even do some live Twitter. I don't know. I've got it pulled up. So if you want to tweet at us, check it out.
For the impressions. All right, there's been some pretty big news that's occurred across the running space. Do you want me to run through Run Flat news real quick?
And yeah, if you'd like to.
Turn our attention. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I got the book. I wrote some things. So last week we talked about the NCAA system. It's kind of a crazy mix of races on the women's side. So what I want to do is just like run through where we're at on the bubble so that folks who are just watching either results or different races being streamed online for the next couple of weeks, you have a sense of what you're looking for. So quick catch up. For the NCAA Division I system, there's an East and a West region. You have to be top 32 in your region to qualify for regionals. And then they take the top 16 out of that to nationals. Or 12, depending on the event. But basically, you got to be top 32 to get to regionals and even have a chance of making it nationals. That's what we're talking about here. So it was a pretty big weekend for really the women's 1500. Just sort of all over the country, everybody decided to show up. So I'd literally make detailed notes because there were so many meets that these were all run on, but they were all within like 4 seconds of each other to take over the NCAA lead. So at the Joe Walker Invitational, Gabrielle Jennings of Furman ran 4:12.60 for the win. Second place was Joyce Camelli from Auburn, 4:13.15. Third place was Taylor Rowe of Oklahoma State, 4:13.99. So Taylor becomes the leader in the West by like 3 seconds in the 1500. These are the top two times. The first and third best times in the East. Why? Because Amaris Tenisma of Alabama ran 4:12.72 at the Crimson Tide invite to get that second spot in the East. And then Danae Rivers from Penn State ran 4:14.21 to take, I think, the fourth or fifth spot in the East for the 1500. So the 1500 was quiet as hell on the women's side. You're kind of like, all right, it's going to pick up. And then this weekend, like the top 6 times in the nation all get run over the course of like 17 hours or something. So that popped off. The new bubble times in the East for the women is 4:20.60, and in the West is 4:22.63. So pretty damn fast at this point, and that's for the 32nd best time with a month to go until conferences. So that's only going to get lower, and it's going to be very entertaining to watch. So if you're watching one of these college invites, that's where you're at. In the 5K, the current bubbles on the women's side, 16:32 in the East, 16:27 in the West. In the 10K, you're basically looking at 36:13 in the East, 34:57 in the West. 10K is weird. You really only want to run it one time before you get to conference. Preferably, you don't want to run it at conference because the 10K will blast your legs out. Speaking of other women doing crazy things in the distances, Hannah Steelman from NC State ran a 9:46 steeple. She won the race by 47 seconds out at Tobacco Road. So she was like unpushed, ends up running like an NCAA lead time, just demolishes the field. So that's going to be something very interesting to watch. Also kind of makes her an outside, interesting person to watch with, 2.5 months, 2 months, a little over 2 months to the Olympic trials to see if she's going to take a flyer and take a crack at that. So she's crushing it. And then you end up in the situation where basically on the men's side, not a lot of results came out this weekend. On the college side, they were like very interesting, except for the fact that NAU ran every single one of their team in a 1500 basically. So Luis Grijalva, who pretty much everybody is saying is like a top 2 favorite for the 5K, runs the like collegiate lead 1500 in 3:39 at this like kind of small invitational down in Tucson. But like Nico Young ran like 3:43, the person who took 4th at cross country championships. Nobody from NAU has run a 5K yet this season. So on the men's side, the bubble for the 5K is 14:02 in the West, 14:07 in the East. Nobody from NAU has run a 5K. Nobody from Iowa State has run a 5K. So like Wesley Kiptoo, the defending champion from indoors in the 5K, hasn't run an outdoor 5K yet. So 14:02 is already 32nd place, and probably like 5 or 6 of the top athletes haven't even run a 5K yet in the West. So that is going to be, if you're trying to qualify for nationals out of the West, you're going to have to run like 13, like 50, 13:45 just to get to regionals. Like it's going to be nuts. And again, like a lot of these people still have a Brian Clay or a few other invitationals coming down the pipeline to like get into a fast field and like have everybody be pulled along. So
I'll be right back, Skylar.
Do your thing. Kids, it's weighing off kids. So the men's 5K is going to be absolutely insane. So definitely something to watch on the college scene. And I'll update you guys on the bubble as we roll through the season. Just some other things to watch on the men's side. For the 1500, you're basically looking at like 3:44 for both the East and the West on the men's side. And then in the 10K, in the East, it's 13:02. Is 32nd place. In the West, it's 29:09. So again, super depth in the West. So if you're watching any college invitational with teams from basically west of the Mississippi, just drill 29 flat into your head. You're going to need to at least run that in a 10K to be competitive and have a chance of making the regionals. So a lot of debauchery is about to go down in the back half of April if you're watching track, and a lot of free track is going to be coming online. So we'll keep you guys up to date on where to find all of that and keep you up to date on the news. On the pro side, we had the Miramar invite from USATF. They're trying to do like this series of like 4 races before you get to the Olympic trials. Mostly because people don't want to travel internationally and then have to come back and do a forced quarantine before the Olympic trials would screw up their training cycles and the ability to race. So a lot more fun domestic races happening. Most of them by USATF are going to attract a lot of sprint or middle distance athletes. And then obviously we have, like the Kansas City qualifier from the Trials of Miles and some of the other sound running invites that are really attracting those distance folks. But this weekend, Miramar, very sprint heavy. Sha'Carri Richardson ran the 6th fastest 100-meter all time for a woman, ran 10:72, win legal, crushing it. So she automatically becomes somebody who's very interesting to watch, not just for the Olympic trials, but also at the Olympics themselves. That puts her right in the conversation to make the podium, if not potentially win the gold medal. In the 400 on the women's side, Shamir Little, who's actually more known as a 400 hurdler, she won by 100th of a second over Quinera Hayes, 49.91 to 49.92. So lights out. The women's 4x4 in America is about to be stacked. It's going to be nuts when it comes to the relays at the Olympics. So super excited for that. Ajay Wilson still stunting in the 800. Ran another 2 flat and it's just like cruising along. So heavy favorite to make it to Tokyo on the women's side in the 8. And on the men's side, everybody wanted to talk about Justin Gatlin. Kyrie King actually won the race. He ran a 9:97. We have so many American men who've run sub 10 in the 100. But Justin Gatlin runs 9:98 at the ripe young age of like 38 or 39. So the man just won't go away. It's going to be insane. insane battle on the 100-meter side in the men's race as well. Really, the 200 as well. You're going to have Noah Lyles way out front, but a lot to take in. So that's where we're at with sort of run flat, stay low news. And then Jamil, we're going to talk about this Dez Linden 50K because we need to, and that was the big news of today specifically. But I'm going to go to the chat, but I actually can't see the screen in the live chat, so I got to pull it up on my phone. And this is what live production sounds like. Unless Jamil's back. He's back. Okay, cool. I was going to go to the chat, but you can read the chat instead of me having to pull it up on my phone, kill my Wi-Fi, and potentially drop off this call. So,
did I make you wait too long?
It was a relatively brief run flat news.
All right, so
we're gonna talk Dez, but
we got to talk
Dez through the chat. But we got to talk through the chat. Do we want to deal with the chat now, or like any pending questions before we get on the Dez thing? Because once we start talking Dez,
I mean,
we're gonna talk Dez.
To be fair, the first two comments were Dez Linden. But here we go. Why do ultra runners have long hair? It seems like it would be easier with less hair, less sweat, less weight and mess.
Yeah, I mean,
the question is probably like male ultra runners, because obviously plenty of women with longer hair out there that have to deal with that as well. So I don't know. I don't know that it. Sometimes I do get annoyed by the longer hair for sure, and I just want to cut it all off, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I use too much shampoo as it is, so I don't totally get like long hair, but you do you. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like gonna go way too deep, man. I don't even know if I want to get into it. Sometimes I put the hair up in my hat, but otherwise I just let it flow, Just let it flow, let it go. It feels good. On hot days, I do tend to sometimes kind of put it up in a bun under my hat. It does happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an aerodynamics thing. Like I used to have a fro, and then we braided it as a sort of a test, and I ran the exact same time. So I don't think it's gonna do much.
Not going that fast. That's for sure.
Yeah. So still feels good. Yeah.
Brian Purcell, he says long hair protects the back of your neck. So a little sun protection maybe.
Sure.
Okay, here's a good one. This is for you. Adam Priest, what websites do you use to keep up with all of this track and field news? Like, what are your sources? Where, like, do you just follow people? Are you going to certain websites to find out updates from all this?
You got
the scoop.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the big problems with track and field, and just like media coverage of running in general, is there are so many different places you have to go look for these things, and if they're a sponsor of a race, or let's just take like Runner Space and Flow Track, if they're streaming the race, the other company just like will act like that race didn't happen, so they won't like cover it, they won't provide news because they weren't the streaming source of it. It's this whole thing that like makes it very difficult to keep tabs on like being able to watch, being able to be a fan, being able to keep track of news after the fact. There's a lot of spots. I've given the Let's Run boards quite a lot of crap. I think everybody knows my feelings on the Let's Run message boards, but the news site is fine. Flow Track's cool. Runner Space is cool. USATF has a not great news site, but they'll at least get you where you're going. And then you have to sometimes go to like individual colleges' websites for results. I'll dig into T first. Like I'll go deep and start just like going through all sorts of just like individual meet results. And then Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm going and following all of these right now. So we got Flow Track. Oh, Flow Track. We had Runner Space. Let's Run. Right? Mm-hmm. What about Dumb Flow Track?
Entertaining.
I saw that one pop. And that seems like the outhouse kind of news that I like.
It is, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna follow. I'm definitely following them now. So there's also Dumb Flow Bot.
Yeah, that one I don't know about.
That's starting to get too deep into the rabbit hole. What else you got? Did you say USATF?
USATF, yeah, and then obviously if we were doing more of the like mountain ultra trail stuff, then the USATF mountain ultra trail because they do some sub ultra events, not flat most of the time, but
we got it here.
But it's all good. But that's the thing. Like, there's so many spots to have to find this information. That's why I just sort of try to make sure I get it all for you all, and then try to make sure you know where to look for upcoming events where you can watch free events online, or if you want to buy a subscription to any of these groups that are putting on races, then obviously more power to you to do so. But yeah, it's all over the board. So yeah, let me do the heavy lifting for you, and if you have specific questions, just hit me up in the DMs. That's what I'm here for. I also just care. Like, I just like track, and the fact that it's an Olympic year makes it all the much more entertaining. Obviously, we'll do like road stuff. I got triathlon news. Like, you want to talk about was it Texas 70.3? Like, go Lionel Sanders, like crushed on that run for the win. Yeah, like whatever. Like, it's just, I also just like, I'm a fan of athletic achievement. So it's a burden I am happy to carry.
And then we got Gatlin's still running. I didn't know he was still around.
Mm-hmm. The man will not go away. Yeah, you just can't. If you're still running sub 10 and you're, upper 30s, just like, well, yeah, I'm gonna ride this out. Especially if you can. Here's the thing: worst case scenario, he gets top 6 at the Olympic trials final. He's still in the relay pool, so he still gets to be an Olympian yet another time. So, yeah, might as well keep shooting your shot. I mean, what else is he gonna do? Go sell cars? Like, just keep riding this train.
Keep running. Just keep running.
So it feels good.
That's right. All right, it's probably time for Dez. We do need more comments in the chat, so please jump in, dive in. Numbers, we miss you. Where you at? We're not sure. Maybe it's the time zone flip. Who knows? So yeah, let's get into it. Dez, do you want to recap it, or am I filling you in on this one?
You can recap it. You're the man with the screen control, so you can bring up.
Yeah, let's put it back up here. We got I Run Far reporting on this, but there's a lot of it. Dez Linden, she ran her first official ultramarathon today, and ran a 2:59:54. First women to ever break 3 hours in the 50K. This was on a private event in an undisclosed location in Oregon, I believe. I actually don't know the course. Was it like 6 mile out and backs or loops or something of some sort?
That's what it seemed like, yeah. It seemed like the out and back variety.
So here is a nice picture of her finishing. This was obviously a Brooks event, her sponsor, and they did, there's not a live stream of the event, apparently due to no cell phone coverage, but there were some tweets throughout the day. I believe there were 2, definitely from her, I guess her agent, Josh Cox, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, Josh Cox was live tweeting. You also had, was it Boston Marathon Pro, I want to say.
Oh, look at this. We got a quick edit from Billy Yang. Should we watch this? This just came out 2 hours ago. This might give us some context.
Do it.
You down for it? Hopefully we get some audio from this. Or maybe that would be bad. I don't know. We may not get the audio, folks, but we'll get this.
Yeah, that was a surprising part. Billy Yang with the random IG post of her like relaxing before the start. It's like, oh.
So it looks like there was a race happening. There were people.
Yeah, I think it was officially a 50K and marathon. So you have people going both distances, don't know who was doing the marathon.
The interesting thing is they called it, oh, look at this. News outlets are free to use. That's us.
Good job.
Brooks
Thanks, Josh.
They called it the Brooks Running 50K and Marathon. I feel like they could have done a little more branding here. Like, there was an opportunity.
I mean,
there we go.
keep it simple, keep it easy.
Oh wow! Look at that champagne in the shoes. I think
that is her move.
Did she do that?
That's the thing. I think after Boston, she also like chugged beer out of a shoe, if I remember correctly. It's kind of her jam.
That was the shoe she ran in.
I would. Oh, well,
It's definitely it doesn't look new. That's Josh right there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. Well, shout out to Billy Yang for that. That cool little edit right there. That was pretty awesome. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
What's this? We've got. Oh, look at that.
We have actual results.
Sally McRae was out there? Nice.
Oh.
I didn't realize that. So Sally McRae ran a 3:20. In the marathon, 4:01 for the 50K. Peter Bromka, DNF.
Peter Bromka.
Charlie Lawrence was just behind her and ran a 2:59.59. That's pretty cool. What were you going to say about Peter?
I was going to say, Peter hurts my soul on a regular basis because he was like the first man out of the Olympic marathon trials. He was the one who was like 1 second above 2:19. So like that was his claim to fame. So I was like, I want to see him. I want to see him do well.
Yeah. So there's the 50K results. So Dez, your overall winner, split the half marathon in 1:15.47, marathon in 2:31.13, and 50K 2:59.54. And then it looks like there was also the marathon. We had looks like 4 finishers and 1 DNF there. So, and then there was an age group record, it looks like, as well. So what do you think? Do you think Dez is going to hit the trail ultra scene, or do you think that like she's probably going to jump back into marathon stuff, don't you think?
I mean, she's toyed with the idea of going to the trails when she's done with her road racing career. And you sort of have to ask the question, how much longer does she want to grind out on the roads? Like, does she want to wait till 2024 to have another shot at the Olympics, or is she going to sort of bag it here either this year or next year, finish at a Boston or a New York and, call it a day and go into the commentating booth for the road stuff? But obviously she's had the talent. We talked about this when this was originally announced, that she should be able to tempo a marathon and then just close well. And that's clearly what she did here. She has the strength. She has the history of being able to run mileage. She's crazy consistent, not just in her training, but also literally known for how well she paces on the roads. It's very hard to do that on the trails just because of the varied terrain. But I think that understanding of her body, of where she is pressing and where she needs to lay off the gas, all that comes together. She would be very successful on the trails. Somebody's tried to argue on Instagram, ask the question if Dez is now the best ultra runner in America. I think that's a hard sell.
Well, yeah, like 50K, no offense to the 50K, but that's barely an ultra. I think there's even the argument that ultra really starts at 50 miles and up, which I would kind of agree with. I mean, if we're talking about like ultra running as a sport, I mean, I don't know.
All right, we're gonna have to revisit that debate at some point.
Well, we should, because I mean, I'm not by any means discounting what Dez did. It's amazing, but I think it really is like kind of an extension of the marathon, really.
And
right?
so I did some quick, back of the envelope math, which is to say I typed it in Excel because I don't do math. So she went through the half marathon at 1:15.47. Excuse me. So basically 5:47 pace. She came through the marathon at 2:31.12. So first half marathon 1:15.47. Second half marathon 1:15.25. And then closed the last 4.9 miles in 28:42. So she basically went 5:47, 5:45, and then 5:51 for the last pace for the last 5 miles or so. So a slight fade on the backside of of that 50K effort when she got above the marathon distance. But her whole claim to fame is how well she paces marathons, and she damn near evenly split the marathon, and then just lost 5 seconds per mile over the last 5 miles. Like, we've seen in the marathon, and I'm sure there are many people who are listening to this right now who've had way more epic blowups in the last 5 miles of a marathon. So to see her be able to maintain through 50K, like, that's just strong. So she played to her strength. She executed well, and she got under 3 hours. So you can't be mad at that. But again, I don't know how well that would translate over to trails or more varied terrain, especially a course that has significant climbing in the back half of an ultra. So,
well, either that or just longer on a road, like 100K on a road too.
Send her to Tunnel Hill, send her to Vegas Jackpot. Like, that would be fun. And here's the thing.
Totally. Yep.
She could crush it. I'm not saying she can't whatsoever. I would like to see her on a more varied terrain, but like, if she goes to a road ultra, she can probably still rack up some national championships for sure.
Well, because a lot of this started too when she did the Destober, where she was doing the number of days of the month of October in miles every single day. So she covered, she's run 31 miles before. Like, I don't know the longest she's run in a day, but she's putting in huge weeks. I mean, the last week of that thing is what? I mean, how many miles is that? Probably like close to 200 miles in a week, something like that.
Yeah. Wasn't the 31st like also the Saturday this past year? So even if you went if you went on Strava, because that's the only metric that counts. Yeah, literally the 31st was a Saturday. So if you went Monday to Saturday, that's still 200 something miles.
Right.
18. Yeah, I mean, 190, something like that, something weird around there.
It's a lot of miles, so clearly she could handle the distance, and that'd be pretty fun to see.
I'm here for it. So yeah, so shout out to her. Like, just let's not discredit. Like, so we're all clear, she crushed it. I mean, she took off 7 minutes from, was it Allie Dixon's previous world? Was Allie Dixon's her world record? And so Dez is just a world best. I'm confused. I don't know.
Is it a world best because it's not an official race type thing? Like, there wasn't enough competition, or
I think you only have to have like 3 people finish or something.
Which seems like they had that.
We have to go back and look at the exact specifics on this.
I'll try and dive into it before this week's show. Let's see. Jumping in the chat. Yeah, this is like, with Dez's world record, will this fuel the argument that marathon athletes would destroy the best ultra runners in ultra races?
Well, the thing is, how many prestigious 50Ks do we talk about each year? Way Too Cool, stateside, is probably one of the more notable ones. JFK? Or JFK's a 50 miler, so like, no.
50 miler, yeah. I mean, Way Too Cool, I think, has been the biggest 50K in the country in the past. I mean, and yeah, even like the USATF 50K champs, like comps at Park some years, and some years I couldn't name it probably. So, yeah.
But here's the thing. That last 19 miles from 50K to 50 miles could be problematic. So, no, this doesn't fuel the discussion. It fuels I think it fuels the conversation that it's basically an extension of this conversation that there are younger athletes who spend too much time on the track that should move to the marathon sooner, because they're like, oh, I'm young, I have speed, and then when I slow down, quote unquote, then I'll go to the marathon. But they stay on the track for too long, and they're like B or C list athletes where they could have been utilizing this aerobic engine or developing it further to actually be good at the marathon. And that's why Japan can have like 85 people run 209 and we have 2 in a given race, like something like that. There's that argument. This could fuel the notion that there are some people who are B, C list in the marathon that should move up to ultra sooner. but they spend too much time on the roads chasing Olympic trials qualifiers, knowing that they're only going to be 40th, 50th, 60th every 4 years. And that's a conversation that's worth having, except for the fact that marathon money is still probably significantly better than ultra money, and track money is the best out of all of those three that I have outlined. So yeah, I think there's a larger conversation to be had there. And it takes investment by sponsors. Brooks threw down money to have her do this, but we can't name a ton of Brooks trail athletes that are like hyping shoes at the moment. Like I think I can only think like 2 or 3 people that I've seen with Brooks sponsorships in the ultra world right now. And we need Nike Trail to keep putting out people. They just put Ryan Miller, I think, on the team. But like that's one of the only notable signings they've had this year, like a new addition to the team. Not seeing much new in the space from Under Armour, not seeing much new in the space or anything new in the space from New Balance. Like the big shoe companies that are domestic aren't supporting it. So that's where we're at in my view of the situation.
I was going to pull something up. I'm going to try and get my login for Instagram here so I can show it real quick.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It was related to like exactly what you were talking about here, so we'll see if I can get it.
Like, I would love more people to go into non-traditional racing. Like, I literally was having a conversation with some high school athletes this past week. We had our cross-country completion meet for this very odd season. And like I was asking some folks from another school, like, hey, if you're not running in college, like, would you want to do like the USATF cross-country circuit? Like, how do we get young people in to keep fostering this environment? Like, yeah, you can probably go run some track stuff and some all-comers meets and whatnot, but like, let's also use cross-country as a gateway into the ultra trail scene because it's on grass and dirt. And if you love running long runs, you can still race some short stuff, but then hey, all of a sudden you are now a marathoner or ultra marathoner.
So speaking of Brooks athletes doing 50Ks, you see this? Kat Bradley out in Hawaii.
I did not see this specifically, but she was the one I was thinking of in terms of new Brooks signees at the ultra space.
So yeah, they had this point-to-point 50K. Anthony Kunkel was out there. They did this certified road race to try and run a fast 50K time. And Kat was out there. Here's a little video you can see from what's going on with that one. So kind of sweet to see it happening. Just a handful of athletes, but they're out there giving it. There's Kat running in that Hyperion Elite shoe, I guess, which is maybe, I don't know if it's the same. It might be the same one that Dez was in, or maybe Dez had the new one. I don't know. So there she is, and
I mean, it's cool for her.
Yeah, she ran a 3:32.53, and it looks like the winner was Fernando Cabada in 2:50.31, Anthony Kunkel 2:55.01, and Billy Barnett 3:02.45.
Did they hand write in ultra sign-up rankings? That's what it looked like. It was like 199.83. It felt like that's what they did. They're like, oh, you were too far down. That's only an 83% age group ranking. I don't know what that is, but that's what it looked like.
Manual ultra sign-up rankings, perfect.
We want you to feel the hate. That's just also cool for Kat. It's like going home. I'm assuming it was probably, or at least her family could have been out there. The family that still lives in Hawaii. So
is she from there?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I didn't. Yeah, that was news to me like a couple months ago. But yeah, no, that's where she grew up until she moved stateside for. I think she moved for college or like just before college. So yeah.
So it looks like here she talks about, because she was just out in Arizona in March. She says she ended her run streak day 163. So looks like she's been having a nice build back up, and yeah, pretty cool to see it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, because I mean, she's had a rough go. I think it's fair to say since that Western States victory. So it's good to see her not only like on the mend, but also with the Stoke again for the ultra scene.
Yeah, and for her to jump into a road 50K, I don't think that's something I would have thought she would be going after, but it's pretty cool to see it. And I think Mesquite was her first race, I think, in 2 years, something like that.
Something like that. That does sound right. So yeah, you know what? That's a good pickup for Brooks. You know, I will be interested to see if this is really the start of Brooks entering the ultra space. You know, like
Besides
even
Scott Jurek.
Correct. I mean, which
I mean, I ran my first 100-miler in the Cascadia. I mean, that was like because of Scott Jurek, man. That's why I got that shoe.
and I blew the hell out of some Cascadias.
And my feet went to crap because of that. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, but they don't sponsor. Honestly, they've been
They
riding
don't
the Cascadia.
sponsor ultras.
They've been they've been riding the brand of the Cascadia for years, and you don't see them like I can think of many races where I see the Hoka banner, all the Ultra banner, like lining the chute to the finish line. I can't name one race that I've either done or seen footage of where I've seen Brooks lining that finish. And it was like, I gotta think the price point for sponsoring an ultra is probably relatively low compared to some of these crazy road marathons or a track series, or even getting commercial space on some of the, stuff that does get streamed on TV. Like, it seems I don't know. We're gonna have to like call some agents and have some conversations just to see like what the actual skinny is on this. But I feel like it's a low risk, high reward investment, assuming that ourselves and Treeline, shout out, and I Run Far, and all of these groups that care about ultras are continuing to promote. So it's not just like, hey, just the 400 people who finished that race see the banner, but like then we're also putting out news stories and talking about the event in a way where they continue to get a return on their investment. So I guess we're part of the solution.
Here, we're giving you some air. We're giving you some airtime here. Okay, the Brooks Running 50K and Marathon official name.
There you go.
That's my biggest problem. Call it something cool. Anyway.
The Dez Linden Invitational. I'm going to switch to warm. There we go. Oh, no, too orange.
Whoa.
All right, we're going back to this. I was like, if you're not watching this on YouTube, I got a crazy.
I got crazy remote
lights going on. So we're going to have to just deal. The flat white work. That seems. We'll go with that. Cool.
Mood lighting. Maybe we need to get some RGB lights going on here. I don't know.
Listen, let me live. But no, so to sort of like wrap up my feelings on the matter, huge congratulations to Dez. Crushed it. Do I want to see her on the ultra trail scene? Absolutely. Do I want her to ease her way into it? Yes. Let's not. I don't want to also have a Kara Goucher. We saw her once and then didn't see her for 3 years situation as well. Do I want to see more sponsors coming in to support ultras? Yes. Are the purists of ultras going to get mad at that? Probably. But listen, we gotta find a way to walk that tightrope. And it's going to take, if we want to grow the sport and have people enjoy the essence of running, we need to have financial backing from these sorts of entities to allow that to happen. Like, if you want like the runner's world, like median person to come to ultras, we're gonna need to have support. Like, niche is great, I guess, for certain things to feel tight, to feel the sense of community. But if we also want the folks who are elevating our sport to continue to invest in it, both on a running and media side, we gotta find a way to continue to support them as well.
Legit.
That's it. That's all my feelings. I'm done. I've ranted. Skizzle out. What's happening in the chat? Like where are we at? Or if you have feelings, you can also.
I got no feelings ever. So Brian Purcell in the chat. He's jumping in with all kinds of facts, just dropping knowledge on us here. Okay. So.
That's what
he says if you look at her Twitter page, she posted her mile splits. I don't know. I don't know how to use an iPad because apparently I'm not finding it. Maybe you can see. I'm here. Now it's not working. She says traditionalist know records drop on Tuesday. Sub 3 out now.
I respect that.
All right.
For those who did not catch that joke, it's because
like me, did not catch it.
Yeah, what used to happen was music albums used to drop on Tuesdays. So everybody now is on this like Friday kick, Spotify's New Music Friday, all that. But albums used to legit drop on Tuesday. That was the day you went to the store, picked up the newness. It was great. So shout out to Dez for the deep cut joke. And this is why I respect her to such a high degree. Yeah, also, mile splits in a 50K are kind of random if it's not a completely flat 50K. So I got to see a course profile. Like, I got to know where these aid stations were. There are many other things I want to cut through before I start getting into mile splits in a 50K.
And Brian Purcell also says world best because they don't recognize 50K for world records, apparently.
Yeah, that sounds right. That is kind of an obscure.
And then there was some chatter about the idea of, is it better to be semi-elite at the marathon or truly elite in the trail scene? Mitchell McLaughlin jumping in. And then granted, lots of semi-elite marathoners have tried unsuccessfully to transition. It's not a given.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
And Brian Purcell says, I think Walmsley is doing better financially than a marathon at the same level as him.
That might be an interesting thread to chase down at some point. Because what qualifies as a marathoner at the same quality as him? Are we saying relative stake to where he sits in the ultra world, or based on his marathon
like
time?
A 104 half marathoner? I don't think he's hit his potential in the marathon yet, probably.
Yeah, because I mean, if you take like what he did at Atlanta, then yes, he's doing financially better than pretty much everybody he finished around. But yes,
like Dradi, despite his recent 209, just got dropped by his sponsor, but it's to say like, well, can Dradi run a 14-hour Western States? I don't know. So like what Jim has done in the trail scene, I mean, it's not. It's like I think we were talking about this earlier. It's not you can't just translate it over. Not everyone can do it. It takes a special type of person to be able to do it and do both well. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We talk about like in the track world, like range from like 1,500 to 5,000 or 1,500 to 10,000 or 800 to 5,000. But like, what is like distant, like ultra distance range? Is it like you're really good at road marathons and 50 milers? Is it you're really good at road marathons and 100 milers? Like it's interesting to think about the concept of just like what is good range in the ultra scene, because there are some people who crushed it at 50Ks and 50 milers and don't do as well when it gets longer than that, and there are some people who are like, I'm only good at 100 milers, and if 50K is essentially a kick, because eventually it's it would be the equivalent of running an 800 in the ultra world, and they just don't perform well. So the notion of range in ultras is just also very skewed, because that doesn't even factor in terrain. That's just like outright distance. So yeah, it's odd. It's a fun conversation. You got to know your strengths. And then capitalize on them and monetize them and make sponsors believe you're really good at things, and you're good.
Cool. A couple other questions. These are kind of now steering more towards, I guess, Aerovipa stuff, which tends to happen sometimes. A little housekeeping. We got one here. Any news on if vaccines will be required for Aerovipa races? Not anytime soon. It's not going to be a requirement. I don't know that. Are there any races out there that are requiring vaccine passports, cards, anything? that you've heard of?
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay.
But in fairness, it's also not something I've actively researched. So,
okay.
I mean, I would be interested in sort of like a more, not what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a more tight start list. I mean, to some degree, like I don't know if Jackpot was doing or is. I gotta look at when that actual date is. But like if they were only doing like an elite field, if they might have done something.
You're talking
like
about
that.
like a more condensed race course, like a small looped course
Yeah.
where it's more of a concern.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've ventured down that road. But yeah, I haven't heard of anything specifically. I've also heard no blowback about somebody being pissed off about it, which is probably how I would hear about it first on Twitter. So.
And then Charlie Seymour, talk about Hotfoot Hamster. I am considering it. What is it like? You ever been out to? Have you been out to Nardini before?
I haven't yet.
Yeah. It's a fun one. I ran my first ultra out there at Nardini Manor. We have the Nardini series. It's a 3-race series. We moved it all to the fall this year to give some more time, for people to get those vaccines and let things kind of cool down a little bit over the summertime. So basically, Hotfoot Hamster it's a 6 and 12-hour night race on a 500-meter certified gravel track around this 100-plus-year-old countryside manor. It's on a 5-acre property that's owned by the Rublik family. And I ran my first ultra there in 2005. It's usually a really fun time. You just run through the night, see how many laps you can run. It's a fixed time ultra, so this kind of a style it's really fun. There's a lot of antics usually that happen, and I don't know. Other than that, you're just like, it's hot. You're running a small loop. You can set out your own supply of goodies. You can set out, table, chair, tent if you want. It's just the beauty of fixed time races. They're great because there's not a specific distance goal you have to hit, and so there's no pressure really. You just kind of go if you feel like it, and you can take a break, hang out, whatever you want. If you've never tried a fixed time, I highly recommend giving it a shot. You've done across the years before, so it's a little bit different. A few times. A little bit different style, but it's good. It's different style than your standard, trail race or 50K or 50 mile.
Yeah, I mean, and you can have benchmark goals if you're like, hey, like I want to, run at this pace for 4 hours, use as a training run, and then just see how far I can go after that. Cool, go wild. You can do all those sorts of little things and have some more fun with it. But it's also easy to break it up into manageable chunks. If you've never done a fixed time race, you're like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna go for 3 hours. Then I'm gonna take a break and kick it. I mean, hell, last time I did ATY, I left to go watch a football game and came back. So like you can. These are the things you can do. You can definitely have some fun, and because it's a fixed course, so closed that you start to build a community with the folks that you're running past or seeing them on a regular basis. Sometimes you guys are just on walk breaks at the same time. You just start chopping it up. Yeah, it's a good time. It's very accessible. I'll put it that way. It's very accessible. Whether it's your first ultra or your 50th ultra. Easy to grind out whatever it is that you're looking to get done. Yeah,
I think maybe you touched on it, but the fact that everyone is on that short loop, like people that you normally would never be near, you're near them, which is great. So kind of get to know everyone in the whole field.
Absolutely.
So cool. What else do we got? Any other topics to cover? I haven't done Outhouse News for the week, so I'm kind of a little bit behind on that.
Oh, no, for shame.
Wow.
No, it's fine. Just for the folks at home who are like, hey, I like one of these and don't like the other, they're very different products. And we keep getting those comments. I'm just like, yeah, they're not the same. This isn't Outhouse News. It's literally 7 times longer. So, sorry. It also has me. So, if you don't like me, I don't care, but like I'm still here, so deal with it. Yeah, and if you like this and don't like Outhouse News, that's cool too.
Yeah, I mean Outhouse News is pretty stupid. It's kind of a little dated, format, but
We're
They
having a
had
time.
there was a pretty competitive race this last weekend, the Peterson Ridge Rumble. Shout out to Treeline Journal. They were putting some coverage. And did you see there was a hurdle division? Did you catch that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm like, can I pull this up on the iPad?
I mean, are we talking hurdle division in the way that there's like basically a steeplechase in the middle of this race? Like there's some barriers you have to legitimate like jump? Or are we talking about there's just like a weird handicap system? I have so many questions.
I don't think I'm going to be able to airdrop. I was going to try and airdrop this or do something with it. You'll just have to tune into Outhouse News this week, I guess, is what's going to have to happen for the full story. But basically it finished, the Peterson Ridge Rumble in Oregon, I believe, finishes on a track. So they have apparently hurdles set up right near the finish line. And if you want to hop a hurdle, you can. And so Jeff Stern, he was second overall in 401, but he was first place in the hurdle division.
That is... Well, okay, as long as they're normal hurdles, it's fine. If it was a steeplechase barrier, that could ruin someone.
No, they're normal hurdles. They look pretty low, too. I don't know. They're definitely not.
I mean, 30 inches is the lowest that hurdles standard go, which after 31 miles is still rough. I mean, it's literally the women's intermediate height, at least in high school. So no, it's you still gotta hop some stuff. I once had to actually, this wasn't me. Somebody from a rival team. We were running the 800, and oftentimes they'll start setting out the 300 hurdles because it's the event immediately after it. But they'll set them out to like lane 4 or something, so that once the 800 is done, you can just fill in the rest of the lanes. Somebody put them too far in, and we were coming around the turn, and he's like, "Oh shit, there's a hurdle in lane 2," and he had to hurdle it in the middle of an 800 race, and it's still one of the more impressive athletic endeavors that I've ever seen. Still went on a run like 2:05 or something like that, while having a hurdle. It's like on the fly, like was not mentally prepared for it, and just like nailed it. I was like, "That's what's up." I respect that. So
nice.
We might have to do this. I should get you at some point. We should go steeple. I would be interested to see what your form is like.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, you can teach me. It sounds like a good Mountain Outhouse video or Outpost video. Well,
I don't know if I'm still that flexible. Nobody can. It's fine.
Oh man.
We're a media conglomerate. We are here now, guys. Get excited. Except for we're not here anymore because we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everyone.
If you're in the chat currently, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notified when we go live next week. Like this video, share it with a friend. And if you're catching us on a podcatcher of your choice after the fact, we are live Tuesday nights on the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel. But definitely slide into our DMs on Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what you guys want to chat about, fun things that are happening. And more importantly, if you actually want us to read it, hop into our Discord. It's linked on the YouTube channel. How you can jump in. We talk Mountain Outpost, Mountain Outhouse News, but we also talk all things Aravaipa. So if you want to get a deep dive on any of the races that are going on, if you just want to shout out your region on what you're doing for training, if you want to harass Jamil and just add him on a regular basis, you can do all that in the Discord. So hop in there. It's a good time, and you might just catch one of us hanging out in one of the open chat rooms and be able to just chop it up with us anytime you want. So awesome. That's it for me from the Run Flat side. Jamil, you got anything from the Run Steep side?
That's it for me as well. So we'll catch you guys next week, and we'll be talking to you then.
Make smart choices.
All right.
Catch you guys later.